What are GMOs is a question I get asked all the time. When I talk about GMOs or genetically modified organisms to people, they tend to be very confused and look at me like I have two heads. There are several people who have no idea what GMOs stand for, let alone what they are or how they affect them. Today there are many debates about the use of GMOs in our foods and if it should be banned or continued. Now I'm not about to lecture you on how GMOs are bad for people and the environment, nor am I going to tell you that I think GMOs can save the world. I believe that GMOs have their benefits, but scientists also need to spend more time examining the effects of them in order to create a sustainable future for consumers. Today, there are so many foods that contain GMOs that the list of at-risk food ingredients changes constantly. The everyday foods that we eat, such as cereals, cookies, processed lunch meats, and crackers, all contain large amounts of high-risk food ingredients. Most people don't consider the amount of GMOs they consume on a daily basis. In North America, over 80% of our food contains GMOs. I strongly believe that the long-term effects of GMOs should be tested more carefully because scientists still do not have that much information or data. Most companies today are striving to find the next best thing that will help them economically. People go crazy for an iPhone 6 or the newest PlayStation, and the same goes for agricultural industries. If there's a product out there, such as GMOs, that will increase profit, they will go to every measure to obtain it. What I mean by all this is that we shouldn't be trying to modify the food we grow to increase production. Instead, we should be taking it step by step and doing what's safe for the consumers. According to the Food and Water Watch, quote, genetically modified foods have been added to the American food supply without adequate review beforehand, and with a lack of post-market oversight by the regulatory agencies that are supposed to ensure that they do not harm people or the environment, end quote. This being said, there must be more studies done on GMOs before we depend on them for all mass production. GMOs can and will help our future of food production tremendously. It won't just help the consumers of the future, but also the farmers and large food companies of the world. According to Ramiz Nam's article on why GMOs matter, he explains, quote, GMOs are neither poison nor perfect. What they are is a toolkit, with the possibility of a dramatically larger benefit down the road as the science behind them improves, end quote. GMOs have made great production in other countries. In India, there have been somewhere between 50 and 70% increase in yields for BT cotton, a modified GMO cotton. There have been showings in China on the improvement of BT cotton and the increasing of yields as well as the benefits to the farmers in production of cotton. Even though there have been some health and environmental concerns from GM foods, there have not been any scientific evidence that they are not safe for humans. GMOs can be very beneficial and contribute to a sustainable future for all consumers. Probably the only way to put in place a durable strategy for GM technology is not to turn our backs on it, but to come to grips with it. Overall, I believe that there isn't enough data to prove that GMOs are harmful to the environment and consumers, and that there needs to be a lot more studies done on them. It is important that we as humans know what we are eating and are not misled by labeling. If scientists can provide more detail and evidence, I believe that GMOs can and will improve production of crops tremendously and can change the future for consumers.